How you doing?
Yeah, good, mate. Good.
Good.
Yeah,
Good.
Yeah.
Good news about that award the other night. Just giving awards.
It's nice. It's kind of like I said. It just helps tell the story.
Yeah,
I
right.
think with anything now, like I kind of now you feel you're inspiring people. You know it's making a difference. The kind of more people you can reach,
Yeah.
the better. So these awards and everything like that just gives people a bit of insight.
Yeah,
and
of course.
Listen to the story.
Yeah. So that's the photo of you guys there, isn't it? You and Josh.
Yeah.
How is it? How did you meet Josh? You and Josh just been mates for a long time.
I actually met him through another friend.
Yeah.
So I own a gym back in Kings Lynn.
Yeah.
And my best mate, well, they're both my best mates, but James joined about 7 years ago.
Yeah.
Didn't know him, become quite friendly with him, then had a lads holiday with him.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like Josh's best friend, so I kind of met Josh through him.
Right. Okay.
And to be fair, they are now my two best mates. Yeah,
That's lovely.
Funny how you kind of your friends change throughout your life, or mine certainly have.
Yeah.
For different whatever reasons. But yeah, these two are good mates.
Yeah. It's often the way, isn't it? People come in and people
Yeah,
go.
I think life dictates it a bit. You know, I've had
Yeah.
some mates who I was real good friends with from sort of 12 onwards. First girlfriend I split up with, you know, you kind of see a different side to them, and my friends have changed quite a bit. But
Same as me.
I'm in that aspect now where I know who my true friends are.
Yeah.
And I've always been wary of that. Like, it's some of the best advice my brother ever gave me when I was young. He sort of said, look, the quicker you can learn who your true 5 friends are, the better you'll be, if you can get 5.
Yeah, of course.
And I had a couple who I thought were, you know, but then obviously certain things happen. You think, hang on a minute, you know,
Yeah.
I don't quite think you are. And then these two are.
Yeah.
Definitely are.
Yeah, it's great, man. I mean, I certainly have noticed that as well as life's evolved. I mean, I've been sober 12 years,
Yeah.
and over the course of 12 years of being sober, friendship changes, and you know, certain people you realise, you know, are actually competing against
I've
you.
had that. Yeah.
You know, you think your buddies, and actually
They're
it's
not.
like they're not.
No.
You know, you start doing really well, and they're like, "Oh, hold on a minute, mate.
Yeah.
Fucking get back down.
They
Stop
do.
letting your light shine."
And I live in quite a small town, so like everybody knows everybody.
Yeah.
And that is you know, I've never been like that within my life. Like certainly, and you know, if I do well, I'd like to see other people do well. Like, it's always been me. But within the town, you know, it seems that the better you do in life, the less kind of friends you seem to get. And I don't know, society sometimes a bit like that.
Yeah, it's funny, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's really funny. And I think, I don't know, because whenever I've been to America, they're very sort of like, you know, they see someone doing well, they're like, fucking rock on, man, you're awesome, man. Keep, you know. Whereas over here, we're a bit like, cool.
Yeah,
he needs to pipe down. He's got his head up his arse, or you know.
I mean that is.
It's weird, isn't it? It's like a cultural thing.
Yeah, and I don't know why they like it. I mean, not everybody's like it.
No,
but,
they're not everyone.
The
no.
majority does seem to kind of not like to see people do well, and that's.
Yeah.
I think even now with social media, sometimes. I mean, I've had no negative social media. Like generally, my social media is all positive, and everybody is backing me 100%.
Yeah.
But you do read stories and will see people who are like hating on people.
Yeah.
Almost like it's fashionable to be that lad what says, oh, hang on a minute, I'm actually, if everyone likes it, I'm going to be the lad what says no. and that's almost like, you know, it's not a nice thing, but
yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, because I had the same thing. Largely, all my Instagram and stuff has been really positive. And then I'd done a podcast with Sean Atwood, who does like true crime podcast. Okay. And we had the same thing. It was like 1 or 2 people jumping on the comments saying I was lying. They were like, nah, that story's not true. He's lying. Right. Look at him. Yeah. He couldn't have gone. And I just responded. I was like, mate, I get it. I get it. If I saw me, how I look now and how I talk now, I wouldn't believe it either.
No.
Because it's crazy. It is a crazy story. So, but yeah. Do you know what a good thing to do is? Let's get that picture up. And you can take us back to that picture. That picture of when you're standing in the gym with your abs out, looking ripped. Take us back to that moment. Like what was going on? Where were you at? Like in terms of life and all this sort of stuff.
That was really looking back. I mean, I've always been one of those lads. If someone tell me you can't do something, like I'd do it, you know, just to kind of prove a point. Yeah. And I've boxed my whole life from like a young age. Yeah. I mean, it's kind of been a bit of a family sport. My dad was a bit of a man's man, and we've got 2 brothers. We all boxed. Okay. So I yo-yoed with my diet my whole life, really. Yeah. Like when I was boxing, I was lean. Yeah. When I wasn't boxing, I was piling cakes into me, and I was fat. So I used to design structural buildings. I'd done engineering for 10 years, but I just didn't enjoy it, and thought, no, you know. So I changed and started a gym. So when I started the gym, I was actually a little bit chubby. Yeah. So I sort of said, right, I'm going to do one of these men's physique shows.
Oh, wow.
And all my mates said, look, you're never going to do it. You know, you just won't, you like food too much, you won't do it. So I was like, right. So I signed myself up to this show in 12 weeks' time. Thought, right, if I sign up and I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
And this was the sort of result of a 12-week diet. I lost 24 kilos in 12 weeks.
Mate.
And although I look like I'm lean there, that's probably the most unhappiest I've ever been in my life. And that is honestly, I was just literally lifeless.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, that sort of was
what did that involve? Just basically no carbs, no sugar?
Literally just tailoring your carbs down over 12 weeks, increasing your eat less, do more, and that was kind of what I'd done. But I was an hour's cardio before breakfast, I was a weight session in the afternoon, and an hour's cardio before bed. And like I said, but in my head there, I actually felt that was kind of the best I'd ever been. Like in my head I thought, cool, I feel amazing, I look amazing. But I mean, I was drained, don't get me wrong, and just like, oh. But I felt that's physically the best I've ever looked, when honestly, that's been my biggest lesson since the injury. Like, people don't look at your abs or like you because you're shredded. I mean, that's ridiculous.
No.
More people like me now because I'm smiling and happy and giving up this positive energy
100%.
than they ever would have liked me there. So,
100%.
although I look good, I mean, that was a big lesson for me, that was.
Yeah, right. I mean, I have, over the course of me being sober, I've tried to get to that point, and I've hit that bit where you speak about being really unhappy and really miserable,
mate.
And I was like, shit, man, I can't be too unhappy and miserable for too long.
Well, it affects everybody. And that I mean, there was probably 3 or 4 weeks before that I was like, I'm done with this. Like, I'm literally done. I'm walking across the gym like a zombie. For what? Like, just to prove a point. And then luckily I had a couple of like PTs there who said, look, mate, you've come so close. Like, just do it. Then you can say you've done one. And they did get me through it. But I mean, that took a toll on everyone around me. Because honestly, you're not eating. You're grumpy. And honestly, it's the hardest thing. Harder than any boxing I'd ever done.
Wow.
Just literally because it takes its toll.
Yeah, right, yeah. But, was you the missus at the time? Did you have the kids?
Yeah, missus, kids. And
so she must have been like living with you.
That's right. But, I just wasn't myself. But I'd still tried to do everything I did before. I mean, there was about 2 weeks before I was meant to go on stage. I took the kids to Blackpool. And obviously all my meals were weighed out to the gram. Mm-hmm. So we're in Blackpool. They want to eat pizzas and everything like that, which is fine. I'd stuck the whole week out. And then on the way home, they stopped in the services and was like, I was going to go in, get some food. And they come out with a box of 12 Krispy Kreme donuts. Sat them on my lap, and then was like, we're going to go to the toilet. So I'm in a car by myself, 2 weeks. I've done 10 weeks of perfect. And I'm looking at these donuts and I thought, just eat one. Probably like 300 calories. Go home, burn 300 calories on the treadmill. But by the time I got back, I ate all 12.
Oh, my God.
My head was bumping. Savage. I was dripping in sweat. I was just like, cool. You talk about your addictions and stuff like that. It was almost like once I'd undone that, like, cool, I'm going to have one. I couldn't stop. It was like a frenzy. So horrible.
Your body must have been like, what the fuck are you doing to me?
Honestly, I felt so ill. It's horrible. I mean, it's not a nice thing to do. Like, your body's not designed to be like that.
You must have had a moment, though, when you first taste the first Krispy Kreme and you're like,
that was heaven. And then, like you said, it's just that feeling of like, cool, I need this. And once I'd let that go and that control, mate, I ate the whole lot. But then as soon as you finished, that like, oh, what have I done?
The guilt.
It's the guilt. I mean, you must know about it more than anyone. Mate, and I had it with donuts. So, yes, it's not, it's a hard thing.
Yeah. It's basically, for me, I call that process addiction.
Right.
Sort of like, you look at something, you tell yourself a story about how it's going to be different this time, and then you do it, and then you're filled with guilt, shame, and remorse afterwards. And I'm the same. That was the same process with alcohol, drugs, sex addiction, spending money, eating crap food. It was like it's process addiction.
Yeah. Well, I had such an unhealthy relationship with food after this, because in my head I didn't feel I was in shape. Until I was at this condition. And I can remember going on like a holiday shortly after with Kate, and I didn't want to take my top off on the beach because I felt, God, I'm not fat. Right. And now when I look at them pictures now, I thought, mate, I was in awesome shape, so why couldn't I do that?
Yeah.
And I got to a stage after this of like, I would eat quite well through the week, and then I'd binge all weekend. Then I'd hate myself on Monday because I'd ate all this junk food, and I'd starve myself for 2 days. And such, honestly, like, I'd get there and like I'd look in the fridge and think, right, just eat a little bit. And then once I started, I'd gorge, until I couldn't stop. And even to the point I started reading a few books to like, why can't that, once that kind of mindset, I break that, why all of a sudden for so many 10, 15 minutes I'm in this frenzy of food. And I thought, there's a vicious cycle to break. Yeah,
it is, mate. Yeah, and it's interesting what you said about. Have you heard about a thing called body dysmorphia? Yeah, because like you see, that's so common now. Like people have that same perception of like, I look a certain way, and actually like they look fine.
Yes, fine. And I think not so much now. I've been saying this to people. If you're a counsellor for food or something like that, in 10, 15 years, like, there's going to be a lot of people with these problems because
100%.
People can get this condition now because they got the knowledge. It's accessible and you can get, but it's not natural to stay down there. And you watch on Instagram and stuff like, so many people are doing it just to stay in shape, to look at these pictures. But when they stop training, they really want to get back to like a normal way of life. Not that there's any normality to life, but to go back to a routine of eating properly, and they put on weight. They're all going to have, I think, eating disorders.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and I think it's not reality, is it? I sort of feel like that era on social media, it feels like it's sort of coming to an end, or it's on the decline anyway. The pages that are just guys in front of a Mercedes-Benz with their six-pack out, like, I don't know. It feels like there's less interest in that.
There is, and I think there's kind of been a fact. And like, I mean, so many people now are trying to push away from that because it's not good. But it's
just
about
leads
being happy,
you to comparing, doesn't it? I think if you're following a page like that, you're looking at that. If you don't have a Mercedes-Benz and you don't have a six-pack and you're not ripped with a suntan,
you don't feel they're doing well.
Yeah, you're less than.
Yeah, and that's. I mean, I've never been one to kind of buy into that, but people do.
Exactly.
And I think sort of like I try to shelter my kids from it as well. Like, I try to say to them, it's not about what you got. Life is about being happy in it. Whether and it's such a simple thing. I say simple thing, but you just got to allow it to kind of be happy.
Yeah, of course.
And I think sometimes social media can have a negative thing on it.
It can, I think so, and it's quite subtle as well, isn't it? You think, I'm going to follow this guy, he looks like an interesting guy, and if the main ethos of certain people's profiles is all about what I have and what I look like, and not how happy I am, then you can get lured into this false sense of belief that, okay, if I have the car and if I look like that, equals happiness,
and that isn't success, is it?
It's a lie. Honestly, like, you've been in that shape and you've got the car. And I've been there, and I'm no happier.
No, that's right.
Than when I lived in a one-bedroom flat driving a Ford Fiesta.
And I think that's the thing since my accident. Obviously, like, I haven't had a down day. Like, I generally do believe everything happens for a reason. Now I've got this following of people who are sending me messages saying, "Oh, you're inspiring me." Like, my life has so much more purpose now. So before then, I might have felt Take us to the accident. So take us. So you've done all these. You're competing. You got the missus. You got the kids. Take us. What happened? Because this was like the big turning point in your life, wasn't it? So I was driving to see Josh. That was the day of Josh's birthday, actually.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So, and I hadn't met India, his daughter, yet. So he was like, "Right, we're in Norfolk. Travel down and come to you in to see my birthday." So, yeah, it's fine. And at this stage, I'd never took my daughter on the back. She'd never been on the back of a motorbike.
Wow.
So the day before, went and got her all the safety kit, the jackets, the jeans, and everything like that. And we was going to have a family day out. Kate, my partner at the time, she drives a Harley, so she was going to have like one of them on the back. I was going to have the other, and we were going to see them. So the next morning I woke up. Like I said, everything happened for a reason. I woke up and I said to Kate, "Fern's not meant to come on the bike with me today." I said, "I don't know why." I said, "But something's telling me she should not be on that motorbike with me." I said, "But I want her to go on the back with her dad for the first time." So I said, "I'll just take her around the estate." So I took Fern around the estate, got off, and then we went off, met Josh, and I had Jude on the back with me. And on the way home, I was just kind of going along, and another motorcyclist came around a car, didn't see us, hits from behind and sort of knocked us off. Snapped my back. But
So it was another cyclist.
Another motorcyclist.
Wow, blimey!
Actually, a lad I know as well, kind of same sort of friendship group. Yeah, he sort of said, "Are you out on your bikes?" I said, "Yeah." He came, met us, I brought him dinner, and then we was just travelling home. He was behind us and just accident. Yeah.
Wow, so it was someone you knew.
Someone I knew.
Wow,
yeah.
Was Jude on the back of?
Jude was on the back. Yeah,
right,
he was fine. I mean, he had a few bumps and bruises, and
yeah.
he bounced a lot better than I did. But he was fine.
What about the guy who crashed into you? How was he?
Yeah, he was all right. Yeah, I mean, I think he had a couple of weeks off work, through bumps and bruises again. And yeah, I'd snapped my back. And I knew.
So we got a photo. This is a photo. So your spine had basically.
I'd literally my T4, so your vertebrae had literally exploded. Yeah, she said it had such an impact that it just popped, and then loads of fragments of bone had gone into my spinal cord. Oh. And then I've got these rods in there now, so they that sort of section of my back is fixed.
So that's your upper spine.
That's my upper spine. Yeah, so that kind of goes behind your rib cage, which apparently is, if you're going to break anywhere, it's quite a good place to break.
Really?
Because that section of your spine is quite rigid anyway. Okay. Because your ribs are attached.
Right.
Whereas anything lower kind of bends and flexes, so that's a good spot for them to fix.
I guess it's got a bit more support around the rib cage or something.
But it's the spinal cord, which is the problem. Loads of people break the back and they're fine.
Right.
But that little, spinal cord, they reckon, is about the size of your little finger.
Wow.
About the consistency of a banana. It runs down the centre of your vertebrae, and that controls everything. And obviously I'd cut it. But luckily I'd only partly cut it, so you get like a complete injury or an incomplete injury. If it's a complete cut, it's cut through, and that's kind of, you've not really got much hope of kind of getting anything back. But when it's partly cut, you get they say you have a 2-year window where you can regain some things back. It's just every injury is different. But yeah, so I mean, I've been grafting for 2 years trying to get as much back as I can.
Just like the moment you go to the hospital and they give you the news, like, Ben, I'm sorry, mate.
Yeah.
It's not looking good.
Yeah.
Like, where was you at? Was it like, were you being in shock a bit? Were you like, shut up, I can't ever move again, sort of thing?
Looking back at it now, obviously you picture things together. And I knew something was bad on the road. I can remember saying to the lady, "Look, can you uncross my legs?" And she kept saying, "Your legs aren't crossed." I said, "My legs are crossed." She's like, "They're not." So I thought, and I actually said, I've met the lady for dinner since to say thank you.
Wow.
And she said, "You said to me, I've broken my back." And she said, I kind of come from she said, first I kind of thought that was the issue. I didn't know how to answer you. And I said, I broke my back. I said, but she said, I don't know. And I said, well, I've had better Sundays than this. So I was kind of just in that, it is what it is.
You were saying that to her as you were
laying there on the bed, yeah.
Bloody hell, mate.
And then in hospital, you kind of, the first 2 weeks I was kind of like in and out of consciousness and things like that. But all the specialists come in and I was asking questions. I'm quite inquisitive anyway, and I just thought, right, this is it. I want to understand it.
Yeah.
And no one would give me the news of like, you've broken your back. But I'd kind of cherry-picked information from everybody.
Your sixth sense was telling you that.
I just knew.
Yeah.
And then I sort of said to my dad, my mum, my dad, my brothers, like, I'm not gonna. They're going to tell me I'm not going to walk again. They was like, you don't know that. I said, I do. Like, I know what certain things have told me. I think because they have to have someone who's trained to deliver the information to you. Like, if just someone comes in and blurts it out, you might be like, whoa.
Because that's quite sensitive data, isn't it?
And it's a big shot. I mean, literally to hear. And I'd kind of processed it, but the lady who'd done my operation, she went on holiday the day after. So it wasn't until 2 weeks she came back to see me. And I can still picture it now. I sort of had my brother here and my other brother in front of me with my dad. And she's like, how are you feeling? And my oldest brother said, is he going to walk again? And she said, look, I'm ever so sorry. She said, but no, she said, you're never going to walk again. And I said, told you, but I had that sickly feeling in my stomach as if to say, I knew it was coming, but to actually hear it, and then my dad had a few tears in his eyes, my brother had a few tears in his eyes. And I was like, that's just, what do you do? Although I knew it, to hear it was a bit of a blow.
Fucking hell. I can't imagine hearing that. And the finality of it, feeling like...
Well, as we started talking as well, like it's just weird because people say, "How do you deal with it?" And I'd accept that if I'm in a wheelchair for the rest of my life, it's fine. But in the other way, I kind of thought, no, I'm gonna beat it. So I kind of did accept it, but I didn't accept it. And it's a hard thing to explain.
I get it, yeah.
But when I was speaking to her afterwards, over like the 10-minute conversation, I said to her, how do you know, like, I'm not going to ever walk again? You know, if there's a chance of me getting bits back, why couldn't I get it all back? And she said, well, you know, she said, you didn't just break it, Ben. She said, it was exploded. She said, you made quite a mess of it. She said, so, you know, it's very highly unlikely, you know, in your situation. I said, well, you've gone from you're never going to walk again to highly unlikely in a 10-minute conversation. To me, there's a little bit of hope there. And she's like, I like your attitude towards it. And yeah, I mean, that's just how
that's
I've been
pretty
since.
Remarkable attitude to have.
Yeah.
In that same convo, being told what you've just been told.
I literally just, I don't know, it's kind of the most organised I've ever been in my life. Like, I thought, right, this is it. I mean, I rang the lady from the athletics competition. And I sort of emailed in and said, look, I mean, I'm paralysed. I want to get into athletic, you know, sports. Yeah. You know, I told my dad, I said, well, don't worry, I'm going to be a Paralympian.
Wow.
So she contacted me and was like, oh, hello, Ben, I'm calling from the board, chatting away. And she said, how long have you been paralysed? I said, oh, for like 3 weeks. And she said, oh, well, you've been out of hospital 3 weeks. I said, no, I'm still strapped to the bed. And she said, I don't think I've ever had anyone call me whilst you're still in hospital. She's like, well, get yourself fixed up and then we'll speak to you afterwards. And I was just like that, you know, in my life I just thought, right, this is it. What do I need to do? And I've been the same ever since.
That's great, mate. That's great.
And I don't know why I'm like it. I think life just, you know, I always think that accident was always going to happen. Yeah. You know, and I do genuinely believe that. So
well, the fact that you knew not to have the little one on the back, it's almost like
sixth sense or something.
Yeah. So you're in tune with something that you can't see and touch. Yeah. You know, so I think I believe in that as well. You know.
But I look back at, like, you know, even like with your situation when I listened to your book, you know, all them bad things that happen. Like, I think that you always was going to be in this position you're in now to inspire others. Yeah. But unless you'd had all that past experience, your story means nothing, does it? No. And that's the same with me. When I look back at, if I'd have played football, which is a team event, you know, you can go out, you can win a game of football, and you didn't necessarily play well yourself. But because I was boxing, it's such an individual sport. You know, if I don't train hard, I'm not going to win. You know, nobody else in that ring is helping me. It's all on me, and it's the same with this walking. You know, it's no one else going to make me walk other than myself. So I think even the sports I chose was kind of just leading me up to this point. Yeah.
It's great, mate. What was the first? So I know you went and you were like, I want to do all this stuff. What was the first sort of goal you set fitness-wise? Like, okay, because I know you've done a few events, you and Josh.
Different ones.
What was your first one?
Well, the whole thing for me is the kids. Like, you know, they're literally, I just thought, I don't want to come out. I can't be down. I don't want to come out because it affects everybody, you know.
Of course.
And certain, you know, things that happen to children, stuff like that, does affect them for the rest of their life. So I thought, I'm going to come out and be the same dad I always was. So I thought, how can I prove to them that dad is still, you're not going to beat me? So in my head, I wanted to come out of hospital on the Friday and do the London Marathon on the Saturday. You know, no training, come out, I'm still here. You know, this is me. Couldn't get into the London Marathon because it's really hard to get into. So I wrote to a charity and they said, we got the Berlin Marathon, which is probably like 6 months away. Right, okay. So I thought, right, okay, I'll do that. And then I thought, kind of, right, I'll do it for charity, do it for them. How can I raise the most money? And I thought, obviously, Josh is quite a big social media following. I'll get him involved. Yeah. I rung him up. I still strapped to a bed. Said, I'm going to do a marathon. Do you want to do one with me? He's like, yeah, okay. And I was like, but you got to do it in a wheelchair. And he's like, I don't know about that. And that's just how that snowballed. Yeah. So the first big event really was the Berlin Marathon. I've done loads of little ones in between. Yeah. But and I'd done that with no training. Wow. Just to show, like.
And Josh done it with you?
Josh done it with me. He trained really hard for it.
Fair play, mate. Fair play.
It was hard.
That's like proper mate, innit? Like jumping straight in a wheelchair. Yeah, mate, let's go and do it.
And we was mates at the time. Yeah. But like, we was good mates. Wouldn't say like best mates. Like we was really good mates. But we've gone from being good mates now to almost brothers. I mean, he has literally had my back. Yeah. From the day of the accident.
It's funny, isn't it? Because you go through these things that are very difficult with someone, and you create this bond. It was like with the recruits on SAS Who Dares Wins. Yeah, you know, you just can't explain it. You go through something like, for you and Josh was the Berlin Marathon. In a wheelchair, which is a tough experience. Not many people can say they've done it. And then on the other side of it, you're like, you don't get it. It's like you Something is built in them moments that
tough times.
It is. It's tough times, isn't it? Yeah.
And I say it's weird. Like there was 2 or 3 lads I was in hospital with. Never met them before, but as soon as you meet and they're going through that, we're in hospital together for like 6-7 weeks. You know what they're going through, and you become so close. It's almost like they become really good friends instantly because of the hardships you've done together. It must be similar to you when you meet people who are addicts and you kind of get through. You know what they've been through.
It is,
and it is tough. So you do build some good friendships.
Yeah, it's great. So have you got any other events coming up? I know you and Josh, you've done lots of stuff together. Is there anything in the pipeline you guys are working on?
I'm trying to get it. I'm very impulsive. Like literally, I see something, I think, right, I'm going to do it. And then honestly, my whole life I'm impulsive. And I watched this challenge Land Rover done with this car. They took up a big set of steps in China called the Dragon Challenge.
Right, okay.
About 1,000 steps. So when I started looking at this kind of thing, I thought, God, I'm going to go up I want to go up that on my hands, like a giant wheelbarrow.
Yeah.
And I thought, God, that'd be good. So I sent some emails off, and I struggled to get that going. I don't know why, but I've since found a bigger set of stairs in Colorado Springs. It's like 3,000 steps, big hiking trail. So luckily I've now got the sponsorship to do that.
Wow.
So next year I'm going to go up on my hands, like a big giant wheelbarrow, just to the top of this set of stairs.
So how is that going to work?
Well, Josh is going to hold my legs. We're just going to start at the bottom and kind of I'll walk
way
up to the top, yeah. But I've added a little bit to it since then because Josh has been trying to sort a new challenge out for himself next year.
Yeah.
And he wants to do one blindfolded. So I said to him, like, this was literally yesterday. I've had an idea. I said, why don't you do it blindfolded? So you hold my legs, and then that way I'm your eyes and you're my legs. I said, like, that's an amazing idea.
Mate, that's epic.
But when we look, I mean, there's a hiking trail. So he's like, that's all right.
That's savage.
He said, if I fall
just
over,
your hands alone are going to get really battered.
I don't know how we're going to do it. It's a silly idea. Like, it is, when you look at it, it's probably impossible, but I've said I'll do it.
Because how far is the distance up?
About 1.5 miles. Yeah, 3,000 steps. I think it's like 45, 50 degrees.
I don't even know how you train for something like that.
I think just walk around London on your hands.
I don't both get on a running machine in the gym.
I mean, I don't put any thought into anything. That's kind of the beauty of how I think of something, and then I know if I say I'm going to do it, I'll do it. I've kind of got that mental strength.
Yeah.
And I always get myself in trouble because I signed up to this bloody hand cycle ride last year.
Yeah.
Do you want to do it for charity? It's 100 kilometres. I said, 100 miles. Yeah, I'll do that. That's fine. I thought 100 miles, easy. And I started, mate, but like I get 40, 50 miles in, and I'm like, mate, this is hard. Like I'm dripping in sweat. My arms, my back hurt. Why do you do this? Why do you not train for things? But I always know I'll finish.
Yeah.
And I had sort of trying to process why I do that, and I thought the actual reward when I finished knowing I've had to grit. If I trained really and I'd done 100 miles easy and I got there, I'm like sweating. Obviously, I'd do a better time.
Yeah.
But I don't think the reward would be as great to know that at 40 miles in, I was ready to stop.
Yeah,
and I've had to have this argument in my own head of don't stop.
Yeah.
When I get there, I'm like, well done.
Yeah. But was that the John O'Groats one that you done with Josh? Or?
No, that was more of a Josh challenge. He'd done that.
Okay,
yeah. I didn't even actually know how to use a racing wheelchair when he wanted to do that. So I was like, I can't really do it with you.
Yeah, cool.
And actually, he'd done so well with that.
Yeah. I remember he spoke about it at the Take Flight event. That sounded pretty savage as well.
I mean, I'd done the last sort of day with him, and some of these hills, like you had to have someone behind your wheelchair because if you stopped, you just sort of fell backwards.
Wow.
It's that steep.
Oh my gosh!
How he done that? That was a test for him.
Yeah. He said there was a few moments in that similar to what you just said, where your head is going, "What are you doing, mate? This is ridiculous.
Yeah,
it's not happening."
I mean, your body's amazing at what it can recover from.
Yeah.
And I keep referring back to your book. There's a stage of your book where you said.
Yeah.
Obviously, you've been an addict of everything. You abused your body for the first quarter of your life, really.
Yeah.
But then when you decided you wanted to do a marathon,
the
body's there, and it's an amazing tool, isn't it?
Unbelievable, yeah.
And I always think it's your body's goal to survive. It doesn't matter what you put it through. Like even me now, half my body in theory doesn't work, but it finds a way of kind of trying to get around the problems.
Yeah.
So I think when I'm going there and your body's telling you to stop, it's just because you're putting it through its paces. It wants you to stop.
Yeah.
Because it's a safety mechanism. Like, you shouldn't be pushing this much. But actually, if you can control that and understand that's your body trying to, you can get through anything.
Yeah.
Your head always gives up before your body does.
100%, yeah. I mean, I've done marathons since then, and I have the same thing. You get to like mile 23, 24, and your head is like,
yeah,
stop, mate.
Yeah, hurt yourself.
Your brain's going, keep running, but your legs are going, no, mate. I'm not up for it anymore.
Yeah, but it will keep going if you can control them thoughts.
It does. Yeah. I mean, I done the Edinburgh Marathon a couple of years ago, and I hit the wall, and I was like, I couldn't get going again.
Yeah.
And then I saw a guy who I was running with a few miles back, and he said, just walk alongside me. Tell me about your kids.
Yeah.
And I was like, one's called Connie, one's called Sienna.
Yeah.
And then literally after
it's a reset.
15, 20 seconds, I was running again.
Yeah,
it was
amazing,
like the mind just needed a distraction. Yeah. And I think it's because I was going along on my own, not talking to anyone. The mind, it was just talking to me.
Sometimes your own mind is your worst enemy, especially if you get in that headspace.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm lucky I haven't had very many days, but there was a stage of, when I first broke up with my girlfriend and stuff like that, you get in that stage of oh, my life's not good, I'm now single and I'm in a wheelchair, like, bloody hell. And then like a day is a couple of days, and then I thought, like if you let that get hold of you and you're kind of in that, it's hard to get out of that.
It is, mate.
And negative thoughts lead to more negative thoughts.
They do,
it's just, you need something just to break that cycle.
Yeah.
And like you said, that bloke coming up to you and just saying, right, come on, walk. It's that reset, and then you're off again.
Yeah, let's just talk.
Yeah,
let's just talk.
The mind is powerful, and I generally that's the only reason I've recovered how I have, because I've been positive the whole way through it.
Is there any techniques that you use to sort of keep positive? What is your thing? I know exercise is obviously a big part, but is there anything else?
I have that oh well kind of attitude. Like, so if something bad happens, I always believe some good is going to come from it. Right. And sometimes I link things up and think, oh, that wouldn't have happened if this. I probably can't really link it, but in my head, I can say, oh, that wouldn't have happened if that did. So I'm always looking for the positive. Yeah. But I just don't let things bother me. I just think, oh, well, that kind of it is what it is. And I think I just accept it straight away. And that allows me just to keep I don't live in the past. Yeah. I don't, even when I look back at my business, there were stages there where I thought, mate, this is hard to make this happen. Like, I'm in a bit of a struggle with my business. But not once did I feel that was ever going to fail. I was always it's tough, but I can make it work. I just don't look backwards. Yeah.
I think that's a great mindset strategy, isn't it?
Yeah.
It is like, look back, but don't stare.
No, I mean, it's on my days where I'm quiet, I think it's a good stage to kind of look back where I've come from. If I'm having a day where I think, oh, really, I can't really be asked with life, I think, well, look where you was last year, and then that kind of that catapults you to then do more, because it's a reflection. You do need to do that. Yeah. But getting caught up on what you was or what I had. If I was still like that, I wouldn't be here now. I wouldn't be here today, because if I was still thinking, oh, but look how good my life was, and look how I was athletic, I was doing this, you're stuck there, aren't you? You're not moving forward. Yeah. But you've just got to think, right, that was what I was. This is what I am now. This is what we're going to do with it. So that just acceptance,
isn't it? Yeah, 100%. Acceptance is definitely the key. Yeah, it's 100%. It's a big thing for me. It was like, until I accepted I couldn't drink and use drugs like normal people. Yeah, I was still carrying on the same behaviour.
It's like a vicious circle, isn't it?
Yeah, just repeating the same thing, expecting a different result, which is basically insanity. That's what insanity is described as.
Well, I had a lady sent me a message last week, and she was like, "How you get it a lot? How are you so positive?" And this is a hard one to question, because I don't really know. Yeah. And she said, because every morning, like, I'm not a positive person, but I keep reading loads of mindset books, and I get up in the mornings, I listen to podcasts about mindset. And I said, well, I'm no expert. Like, I'll give you my honest advice for how I think. I said, but I think that's the worst thing you can be doing. I said, because if every morning you get up and you listen to a podcast to tell you how to be positive, in theory that highlights the fact that you're not positive. It's like a vicious kind of, I need to be positive, I'm going to listen to this. Then you don't implement what that says. Then it highlights you not doing it. I said, just wake up tomorrow and just think, I'm not the most positive person in the world. Yeah. So what? Like, okay, but then try do something little to implement a positive kind of info. Do that for 2 months. That becomes a routine. Then try something else. Like, not everyone is positive, but accept you're not.
Yeah.
And kind of work with what you've got. Don't try drastically change or highlight anything what everyone else is telling you. It's just that kind of breaking that cycle again.
Yeah, I completely agree, mate. That's the thing that I speak about on my men's retreats. Is I say to the men, all of you is welcome. So welcome even the bit of you that's not positive.
Yeah, that's right.
Like not everyone's really that positive. There's bits of you that might be inconsistent and lazy and
nobody's perfect, are they?
No, that's it. Just welcome all of yourself.
Even the most positive people, the most successful people in the world, they still have their own problems.
Yeah, that's right.
I just think they don't get caught there. Once you realise, this is not quite, they don't get stuck on that bit. They continue to move forward. It's kind of when you get stuck still thinking about things, and that's kind of when you don't move, isn't it?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, and some of the most successful people I meet now aren't successful in the way that we would view successful 10, 20 years ago.
No.
Like I meet people who are really happy, got really good work-life balance, and they're not multimillionaires.
No.
They're just people who eat well, exercise, have a good work-family balance, and they're really happy.
Yeah.
And for me, it's like, that is success.
That's life.
That is it.
Yeah.
That's what it's about.
It's
not about money and cars and mortgage. It's not.
And sometimes you get caught in that. I literally had a conversation last week with another friend of mine. He's been doing the last 9 years in Ibiza. Does a season. He had a Spanish girlfriend, but he didn't know what to commit to being out there. He comes home, does it, goes back out there. But every time I speak to him, he's like, but I'm 35, not got no house. And now his missus has left him because he wouldn't commit to going to Spain. He didn't really know what he wanted.
Yeah.
And I said to him, who says you have to have a house? Like, you're happy going to Ibiza, working there this summer, coming home. That's you. Like, your life, you don't have to have a house. Like,
no, that's right.
Just do what makes you happy.
Yeah.
And I think that's the same message, whether it's about your image or about anything. Like, if you're happy with what you got, you can be the size of a house. But if you're happy, who cares? It's personal to you, isn't it?
Yeah.
But sometimes people get lost in that.
Yeah, and I think I have definitely been one of them people in my life as well.
Yeah.
Like thinking if I don't have the mortgage and the car and the house and the wife and the kids, I'm not going to equate. Like, my value as a man is dependent on ticking all them boxes.
Yeah.
And it's like, actually, you can tick them boxes and still not be happy.
Yeah. Well, you can imagine. Like, I bet there's some very, very wealthy men out there looking at just the average Joe walking down the street with his family with no stress and think, I wish I could just do that, But it's hard, isn't it? It's good to have a goal, don't get me wrong. I think you need something to drive for, but just don't get lost in that.
Yeah, 100%. And I completely echo that. Is like, be determined, be, driven, but
don't let it consume you.
Yeah, don't let it consume you to the point where you're like, either I'm going to tear everyone down to get there, or I'm going to neglect my family in the pursuit of this goal.
Yeah.
Like, don't lose sight of what's really important in the process.
And I think that, sometimes it is hard to see. You do get lost in that. But, but it's the thing about my story, that's I've had that happen to me, and that wakes people up to think, actually, look, there is more to life. Hang on, I've been stuck doing this, and he's just lost his legs, and he's still happy with his family.
Yeah.
And I get so many messages like that, just making people just realise there is a little bit more to it.
Yeah. I mean, that was my experience when I met you, at the Take Flight event.
Yeah.
And I met you and I heard your story, and you were so positive, you looked so well, you spoke so well. I was like, fucking hell, this is like inspirational stuff. You can see, like, a life-changing thing has happened to this guy. It hasn't broke him. It's actually pushed him on. He seems happier and.
But I still struggle to see that when people say that, I find that inspiring, because I feel I was still that same lad.
Yeah.
I still struggle to see how people see that inspiring, but I suppose that is what they do find inspiring.
Yeah.
But it's stories and experiences what inspire people to do more. Like I said with yours touched me, and that really did, because I sort of had that happen. I thought, I've had 32 years of doing everything I've wanted. I've had a good life, good upbringing. As long as my kids are all right now, I don't mind. I've lived a life. And I look at young kids, like, when you said about your story, the rules of life say you shouldn't be nothing, because you've had so much shit almost just happened to you. You shouldn't be standing there with a smile on your face, and it does. So when you spoke, I was the same. I was inspired by it, because I thought he's broke the mold. You know what I mean? He's come out of that, and you're doing it, and look at what you're doing now. So it's amazing what stories do touch different people.
It is. It's incredible, mate. I completely agree with you. Yeah, because I know, like, when I do gratitude lists, not every day, but most days I do a gratitude list. I get people send them to me. And after I met you, what started going on my gratitude list was that I could use my legs.
Yeah,
I was like, it's something so small.
Yeah.
Like everyone just takes for granted.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's like something so small.
Yeah.
And it's like you hear a story from someone and you're like, wow, it's like, you know, we are lucky, we are blessed, we have actually everything we need.
Literally, and it is something. I just said to Josh, I dropped Josh up there, and I never think it, but there was a bloke just walked across me literally 5 minutes ago down the road with his family, and I watched him walk across. And it's the first time I'd thought it for ages, but I went to him. I said to Josh, such a simple thing, isn't it? Walking. You know, I've watched him just walk across there, and I said, how he's just them steps. It's such a simple thing, but the fact that I can't do that, how much my life has changed through losing such a simple thing. Yeah. It was the first time I've ever thought that, and that wasn't in a negative way. Yeah. I just thought, whoa, that has impacted my life so much. Yeah, right. But people get that, you know, that ain't something you take for granted. I don't think it's just you learn to walk. You shouldn't, you can't go around every day thinking, "Oh, I might lose the power to walk today," because if you did, you wouldn't want to go anywhere. So you can't go through life thinking things like that. But like you said, it highlights the fact that actually you're grateful that you can walk. You know? Yeah. It's like, it inspires that, and then you kind of move on from it. Yeah, I completely agree, mate. Yeah. So, 2 kids. How's the kids doing and all that? Great. Yeah. I mean, I don't think that really affected them too much. Yeah. It's amazing how kids adapt. Yeah, it is. My son a little bit more because you know, like I said, my dad was a man's man. Brought me up to be the same way. Jude's the same, and we've always done everything together. Yeah. So I think in my kids' eyes, I'm a superhero. You know, there was nothing Dad can do. You know, I'd say that'd get to January, and I'd say to Jude, like, what should we do this year? And if he said, I want to see you run a marathon, I'd run a marathon. If he said, I want you to box this year, I'd box. So the kids had always set what we kind of done, and Jude would always do it. If I boxed, he was in my corner, you know, squirting me with water bottle. So we do that to then go to someone who is like, well, my dad's in a wheelchair. I think it did affect him a little bit, but that was my main goal, to come out and not let it affect them kids. And it hasn't, but they're amazing. I mean, my daughter, she's a special little girl. How old's your daughter? So she's 11 now. Okay, nice. And my son's 13. But it's the way kids think is just amazing. Yeah. I mean, everybody was coming in the hospital and like walking, they'd say, "Oh, don't worry, Ben. You know, if anyone's going to beat this, you'll walk again. And that's they want to push that on you amongst your positive. They want you to smile. You know? My daughter was the first one to walk in, and she was like 9, 10 at the time, and she said to me, like, how are you? Oh, there you go. We got a picture of your kids up there now. Yeah, I think that was the first day they came in. Oh, mate. But she actually said to me, she was like, "Do you know what, Dad? It don't matter if you don't walk, like, you're still my dad." And I thought, you know, everybody to walk in, everyone was like, you will walk. And she's the first person who came and said, "I don't care." I thought, what a special little girl. And that's her heart. But Jude, every time he got to the hospital, he'd always turn up 10 minutes before everyone else, because he'd get to the hospital entrance and sprint to the room and come in, and then everyone else would come in later. But they are great kids. Mate, it's just that's the gold, isn't it? Yeah. The real gold in life is right there. You know, watching your kids grow up and being there and inspiring them. But I think they've probably learnt more about life in this last 2 years than I could have ever dreamed to, like, teach them. Yeah, right. Because, you know, I thought, right, life is a constant adaptation, isn't it? You know, everybody weekly come up with things they've got to adjust to. You know, not everything goes your way. You know, you might lose your job, whatever. So I thought, if I show them that actually this is the first major thing to happen to me, if I become depressed and get down, it's not really teaching them much about life, is it? You know, bad things happen. You know, you have to adjust to it, and they've learned that. And he is. I mean, last week I make him work at the gym, so he works at the gym through the week. He's right into his fishing. Yeah. So I said, well, I don't mind funding a little bit if you want to go fishing. There's a job there, you can work through the gym, you buy your own stuff. What does he do at the gym? He works on the till, he stocks the fridge, he just talks to people, and he's good at it. Yeah. So he saved for all his own fishing gear, which is lovely. Yeah. And my dad took him fishing the other week and left the back door of the van undone. So all his fishing gear come out, and he lost this bag with, I don't know, £300 worth of fishing stuff, which he'd saved and worked for himself. Oh, mate, what a shame. So I said to him, mate, you know, don't get upset about it. You've lost it. And he sent me a message out night was like, mate, everything happens for a reason. And I thought, you know what, it's just, and he wouldn't have had that mentality if I ain't done it for the last couple of years with this. Yeah. So he's just like, well, I can't change it. But luckily through social media, again, I put it on there, we found the bag. So I picked it up and got it back.
Oh,
so,
what a result.
Yeah, nice little story.
So there's a good little lesson in that for him.
Yeah, that's right.
And he didn't have to pay the price
nice.
for it.
That's
great, man.
They're good little kids, they really are.
Yeah, that's great. That's great, mate. So if there was, I imagine there'll be people watching this who maybe have recently had a life-changing accident or have had a life-changing accident for some time and are living with it.
Yeah.
And you're someone who's been through it and who's managed to come out and live a happy, positive life.
Yeah.
What would your advice be to them?
I think my whole thing I try to push is there is a life after a spinal cord injury. Like, you know, if you want, I live an amazing life still. It's kind of like I said, it's acceptance, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know, I travel around hospitals and see people newly injured, and I've met people who have been in wheelchairs 10, 15 years or, you know, whatever. And the thing I found is, like, everybody gets there in the end. Some I accepted it first week, but some it takes 5, 6 years.
Yeah.
But the thing I've seen the pattern of is once you do accept this is life, that's when their life kind of starts. So, like, anyone I meet new, I'm like, look, the quicker you can get your head round your life is different, the better your life is going to be, or the more you'll have of a better life. Just accept it, you know. It is hard.
Yeah,
but it's
so powerful, that, because when I think about everyone who gets sober, they have to do the 12-step program from Alcoholics Anonymous, and the first step of the 12-step program is accepting you have a problem.
Yeah.
Like, and you can't go any further in your sobriety
until you
until you accept you've got a problem.
Yeah.
And it's like the same as what I'm hearing from you, and it's like, God, that could be the title of this podcast, The Power of Acceptance, couldn't it?
And that is, and I'd like listen for you, but I think the 12 step you said was actually then helping others.
Helping others, yeah.
And talking about things, it's such a powerful thing to do. Like, and I love to see people doing well, like helping others, and that is, there's something in that. Like, that's the biggest purpose of me now, like this injury, to watch someone who has spent 5 years feeling a bit down and then see me do the marathon and think, actually, I could do that. Then watching them do a marathon, which has happened. I mean, I had a lad at physio. So powerful, you know, feel that the people don't realise that how nice that makes me feel. Yeah. And I'm helping them, they're helping me, and that kind of, that is a big thing in it, you know. Yeah. Everyone's got a story to tell. Yeah, and it definitely is. So even though you're struggling now, once you accept it, and you can help people who are then in that same situation. It is just, there's something in it.
100%, mate. And that's what I try and inspire people to do, is like share your story, like not just like dress up your life on social media with all the best bits. Like, the real gold for people is like, how did you get through the really shit times? Yeah, that's the gold.
And I always like, so I always tell the kids, you know, speak to everybody, because everybody has got a story, you know, from the most successful man in the world to the tramp on the street, you know. And even if you speak to the tramp street, you can learn where he went wrong, you know, how not to do things. So you don't always need to know how to get things right. Yeah. You know how to get things wrong, and that's, you know, everyone's got a story. Yeah.
Oh, great. Well, listen, mate, let's wrap it up here. And thanks for coming on, mate. And come on again, and when you've got some more challenges, and we'll talk more about it.
See what the future holds, mate.
Yeah, keep doing what you're doing, mate. It's, like, for me, very inspirational.
Yeah, well, you and me as well, mate, so thank you.
Nice one, bud.
Good.